Have you ever been put on the spot? Someone asks you a question and your mind just goes completely blank? Yeah, we're going to change that. This is all about learning to think on your feet and speak with real confidence. And the secret isn't about memorizing lines, it's about making a genuine connection.
Oh, you know that heart-pounding moment, right? Your mind just feels like a blank slate. We have all been there. But what if I told you the way out of that panic isn't to try harder, but to completely change how you think about speaking in the first place?
Okay, this right here is the absolute core of it all. We have to move from what's called a performance mindset, where we're just obsessed with how do I sound, to a purpose mindset. It's a really simple switch. Instead of asking, am I impressing them? You ask, am I helping them? And that one tiny change, that's what turns all that anxiety into a real, authentic connection.
So where do we even begin? Well, it's not with some clever phrases or body language tricks. Nope. We start inside our own heads. Because look, if your internal state is chaos, your words are going to be chaos too. Let's tackle those mental roadblocks first.
This is such a game changer. You have to let go of being perfect. Seriously. The pressure to be flawless is exactly what makes us sound robotic and stiff. What people are actually craving is a real human connection, not some perfect, polished performance.
And here's the honest truth. People will forget the exact words you used, but they will never, ever forget how you made them feel. So a little stumble or a pause, that's not a failure. It's a moment where you're being real. And that is so much more powerful than a flawless speech that nobody remembers.
Okay, think about this for a second. Your heart is racing, your palms are sweaty. Is that fear or is it excitement? The physical feeling is exactly the same for both. The only thing that's different is the story you tell yourself about what's happening. This is such a powerful mental hack you can use right away. The next time you feel those nerves kicking in, don't try to fight them. Just reframe them. Instead of thinking, oh no, I'm so nervous, tell yourself, yes, I'm excited. It's such a small change in wording, but it has a massive impact on your mindset. All right, now that we've got our mindset in a much better place, it's time to arm ourselves with some practical tools. Think of these as your in-the-moment frameworks that will help you sound clear and confident even when you're totally put on the spot. Let me introduce you to your new best friend for impromptu speaking. What, so what, now what? It's a super simple 3-step formula. For example, we're launching a new feature. That's the what. This is a big deal because it's going to save our users a ton of time. That's the so what. So let's start by beta testing with a small group, and that's your now what. See? Instant structure every single time. Let's round out our toolkit with a few more essentials. First, listen way more than you speak. It's the only way to really understand what's being asked. Second, learn to love the pause. A moment of silence can be way more impactful than just rushing to fill the space. And finally, keep it simple. True intelligence isn't using big words. It's making complex ideas feel simple. This quote just nails it, doesn't it? Great speakers are, first and foremost, great listeners. When you really hear someone, you're not just processing words, you're getting their perspective. And that's how you build bridges instead of walls in a conversation. Okay, so being clear is a great start, but honestly, it's not enough. How do you make people not just understand you, but actually remember you? Let's talk about how to forge a real, genuine connection. And this is really where it all comes together. How do you make people care? I mean, you can have all the facts and figures in the world, but if your audience doesn't feel anything, your message is just lost in the noise.
The answer, it lies in the oldest form of communication we have, stories. Our brains are literally hardwired for narrative. A statistic might be forgotten in minutes, but a good story, a compelling story can stick with us for a lifetime. And listen, we're not talking about some grand, epic fairy tale here. A simple story about a customer who had a great experience, or a time you learned a really tough lesson, these small human moments are what make your message stick.
And please, don't forget the power of a good question. It's the absolute simplest way to turn a monologue into a real dialogue. It says to your audience, hey, I'm not just here to talk at you, I'm here to talk with you. That's the ultimate shift from me to we. Now, this is going to sound like a total paradox, but the secret to being a great spontaneous speaker is practice. A whole lot of it. Let me show you what I mean by that. Think of it like a jazz musician rehearsing scales over and over. That foundational practice doesn't lock them into a rigid performance. Quite the opposite.
It gives them the fluency and the freedom to improvise beautifully. The same is true for speaking. Practice builds the mental muscle you need to let your words just flow naturally, even under pressure.
And hey, practice can actually be fun. Challenge yourself to describe a random object in your room for just 1 minute. Or try summarizing your favorite podcast out loud while you're making coffee. These are like little workouts for your communication brain, building the strength you need for those big, high-stakes moments.
So, where does all of this lead us? Well, it leads to a place of sincere communication. It's about letting go of that need to sound smart and instead just focusing on being understood. It's about sharing, not showing off.
Look, if you only take one single thing away from all of this, let it be this. Stop trying to impress people and start trying to connect with them. When you make that your #1 goal, I promise you everything else changes.
So here is my challenge to you. In your very next conversation, doesn't matter if it's in a huge meeting or just at the dinner table, what's one small thing you can do to focus on connection instead of perfection? Think about it, and then go give it a try.